Hey YouTube, this is City Prepping. In this video, I wanted to answer a very common question, a comment that I get on a lot of my videos whenever I mention that I live in Southern California. And every comment is some variation of why are you living in why are you living in California, specifically Southern California? Why aren't you getting out of there? Why don't you leave? What in the world are you thinking? I've heard every single variation of that. Some of it well-meaning, some of it, kind of can be critical. But look, at the end of the day, this is a comment I hear all the time. I decided to do this video primarily because it's a common question that comes up, and I thought it warranted its own video. So in this video, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to defend living in California as a prepper. If you think that I'm going to try to make a case for why you should live here, I probably wouldn't make one that's going to be convincing enough for anybody outside of California to take it serious. But I thought it would be a good opportunity to kind of share a little about why I am actually here. So if you're watching this video and you may ask, why would people be critical of California from a prepping perspective? Well, I think there's a few things that California is pretty well known for, and a lot of it is true. There's a lot of restrictions here, especially when it comes to firearms. I probably don't have to convince you of that. I'm sure you hear about it in the news. Every year they come out with some new law to tighten it up. We only can have 10 rounds in our magazines, can't go past that. That's been a law for years. This past year, you have to convert your rifles to certain configurations where it's not a threatening rifle. This year, you can no longer buy ammunition and have it shipped to your house. We've also got a lot of military bases here in California, and from a strategic military standpoint, that could be problematic if a war were to break out. We have a high population density. Fires are increasingly becoming a problem as drought is getting worse and worse in the state. All the resources that we have here in Southern California are brought in, whether that's gas, water, electricity, food. Everything has to be brought over the San Andreas Fault. The traffic is notoriously bad. There's not much in the way of hunting because it's so dry out here. There's not really any big game that you can hunt. We're constantly being told we're overdue for a massive earthquake that will be catastrophic when it finally does happen. We've got an overbearing government that constantly is imposing new rules. We have taxes that are some of the highest, and a lot of businesses for that reason are leaving the state. So then the obvious question comes up, why am I staying in the state? Well, the answer is pretty simple. And again, these answers that I'm giving, I'm not using them as a defense or a reason for why anybody should stay in California if they're thinking from a prepper's perspective. But really, again, it's why I am here, and these are the reasons I choose to stay around. The first and most important reason is because I was fortunate enough to marry somebody that is from Southern California. All her family is here. This has been a point of discussion that we've had on many occasions. There's just so many things that are unique and special about her. And the fact that she loves me and I love her very dearly, it's an important thing, obviously. And so for her, her desire is to be close to her family. And the more I've gotten to know her family, the more I've come to love her family, and they've become my people, my family. And we wanted to make the decision, or rather we made the decision that we wanted to raise our children by their family. For us, that's just a very, very important thing. Not only do we have our family out here, I've also had the opportunity to develop many, many deep friendships over the years here in Southern California. I've got a handful of people that I would consider best friends, both in my local area here in this town and a little further down in San Diego. These are people that I've had the pleasure of getting to know over the years. They're extremely deep relationships, and these are the type of people that would do anything for you. Again, between having close friends that I love very dearly and having a close family and a wife that loves her family, these are all kind of things that have added together, I guess, in a sense, to be the driving force, if you will, for the reasons, for why we want to stay here. People measure wealth by different measurements, some by money, some by possessions. I mean, you can go on, but I think the true sign of wealth is relationships, the depth of relationships. And again, those are huge, huge things for us and our family. And they're very important. That's, again, what we value more than anything. And so, again, I think those are the primary compelling reasons why I stay here, is because of our close relationships and because of our close family. And it keeps our marriage very strong, having those support, I would guess I'd call it support network around us. And I'll be honest, it's extremely beautiful here. If you've ever come out to Southern California before, gone to the beaches, seen, the areas between San Diego, Orange County, LA, they're some of the most, scenic places you'll ever see. I've had the good fortune of traveling around the world, and still, I've personally never seen anything as beautiful as California. But again, that's relative. I know some people that would live maybe in Tennessee or in Washington or New York, and they would all say that to them is beautiful. I don't know, something special. There's something special, I think, in my mind about Southern California. Again, I'd be willing to leave it, but for the reasons I mentioned earlier, obviously I won't. But it's a really beautiful place. Now, for me, I live in an area that is unique because I don't think I could personally live in Los Angeles, maybe San Diego, but again, that would be a stretch for me. But again, if anybody's from LA watching this video, no offense, it's just a little stressful for me, a lot of traffic. The times that I go and visit, and which is often we go, probably a couple of weekends every month to be with our family there. It is a lot. It's stressful to me, just the traffic, the nonstop, bumper to bumper. Thank God for the carpool lane, but I don't think I could swing LA. It's that area to me is a very dense area. And I live in an area called the Inland Empire. I'm to the east of LA and north of San Diego. And it's a pretty cool place. I mean, it's, conservative in a lot of its values. There's a lot of military out here, a lot of law enforcement that are pretty gun friendly in and of themselves, cool people. Got to know a lot of individuals, both military and law enforcement out here. So this area I enjoy. Again, I think if I lived in LA, that would probably drive me nuts, but I can swing the Inland Empire. One of the things that I personally like about the prepping community is the fact that they're willing to find ways to survive even in adverse conditions. One of the channels I enjoy watching is the Canadian Prepper. He's been doing some videos in cold weather climate, talking about being in minus 30, minus 40. I mean, there is no way personally I would ever want to be in an environment like that. He even mentioned in one of his videos that being exposed to that for even a matter of minutes could be lethal. And to me, that's, I don't know, to me, that's crazy. But again, he loves that stuff. That's what he grew up in. For me, I enjoy this climate. It's really nice here in Southern Cal having kind of a consistent climate all year round. It is pretty nice. I grew up in Texas, really hot. You had extreme temperatures, but again, I miss Texas, and I would be willing to consider going back there. Of course, I know there's going to be people that are going to ask in comments or questions, hey, why not just live in some place like Nevada or Utah or Oregon or whatever, someplace relatively close that you could still go back. Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation that I've had a lot with my wife. And again, we just, as a priority, want to have our children grow up around their family, and we want to be around our family. And, at the end of the day, my long-term goal is to find land. I'm in the process of doing that. I hope that eventually I can find land to settle down a little outside of the city area where I'm not in such a heavily dense populated area. And so, again, with this channel, I wanted to do this video, again, not to make a defense of California as much as just share. I just wanted to communicate this to my subscribers, really connect on this. Everybody's going to have their challenges no matter where you live. Every state, every location, every country. For people that are outside the United States watching this video, obviously you have your own set of challenges. I've lived in other nations. I've lived in very harsh conditions, but yet it's interesting. I see that people will find a way to make it, to survive no matter what the conditions. And as hard as it is living here in California, I find a way to make it through. It is tough, especially when it comes tax time, and it's pretty frustrating owning a business here. They don't make it easy for you. But I always tell people we pay the sunshine tax here. It is beautiful. It's always sunny, and there's some scenic aspects, obviously, to this state. But anyway, hopefully that gave you a little insight into what I'm doing here, why I choose to stay. And on a side note, I actually had a conversation with another Californian prepper today. We did a video hangout on Skype, the Prepper Princess. We are actually going to do a collaborative video in the next week or two. I'll put a link in the description section below if you want to check out her channel. She does some really great videos on prepping on a budget. She has a different take on some things that I haven't seen on many YouTube channels for the prepper community. And so I enjoy her videos. Again, I'll provide a link if you want to check out some of those. Definitely go over there, check it out, and subscribe. So anyway, if you enjoy this video, click on the like button. I definitely would love to get your comments. Again, I'm not looking to get into arguments with anybody as to why I'm here. I'm just wanting to kind of share with you. Again, this is more of a video for my subscribers. So as always, be safe out there.